Hey guys, Craig, Fergie time. Today we're going to talk with a Jeep couple, Pope and Randi, Jem and the Misfit. They have a great Instagram. They do a lot of crazy stuff, and it's just awesome to hear their story and how they kind of got started and about their different Jeeps and all that good stuff. So check it out. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks, guys. Alright guys, Craig here, Fergie time, another episode, and this time I have the Poe and Randi, but Randy's is not trademarked, and you guys drive Jem and Misfit. When I first saw your Instagram, and I'll post a link, Jem and the Misfit, yeah? All I could think of was the movie Jem and the Holograms.
That's what it is.
Jem and the Holograms, the cartoon from the 80s, and then there's the movie that was recently done as something to get us to go watch it. Yeah, it was the cartoon, and the Misfits were
the rival band.
The rival band to Jem and the Holograms. The Misfits are the bad guys. Actually, literally is related to that.
Yes, I was like trying to think of a cool name for my Jeep, and I was like, she's gonna be a rock star, and like da 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 da. And I was thinking, and then I was like, oh my gosh, Jem, I could name her Jem. And one of my clients actually said, well, you need a green Jeep and you can name it the Misfits. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's a truck and he's a Jeep. Neither side wants to take him. He is a misfit. Like, this is perfect. Like, it just like happened that way, because the Jeep people don't want to associate themselves with the Gladiator, and trucks sure as hell don't want to be associated to the Gladiator. So he's just kind of in the middle. Yeah. He's misfit. We camped first. So that's kind of where we started, is we were camping and doing all that kind of stuff. And we had we've always had Jeeps, but we didn't really know the rock crawling world until we kind of started dipping our toe into it. And we're like, we should build them right. We didn't know what that meant.
So you're in Utah, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we are in Utah.
So we're 3.5 hours from Moab. We're 4 hours from Sand Hollow. We're 2 hours to Vernal. We're an hour and a half to Price. 40 minutes to American Fork Canyon, which is like one of the most gorgeous canyons in the country. So we're kind of in a really cool central location where
She's never seen Colorado's mountain.
Colorado's a sore subject. We've tried. We haven't gotten out of the parking lot at Montrose.
So you started overlanding.
We wouldn't even, it wasn't even called overlanding. It was like putting all your gear in the back of the Jeep and then driving on a dirt road partially to find a spot off the side of the dirt road. Definitely not anything close to what we got ourselves into. It was kind of funny because someone said, are you guys going to go to Moab with them? And we're like, oh yeah. And we were going to do Fins and Things and Hell's Revenge and then check it off. We wheeled the Jeeps in Moab. Let's go back to doing our camping thing.
We've had Jeeps our whole lives, or
right.
In and out, and we've had several different Jeeps. It's always been more of a camping thing. Like, our friends and us would go be like, where do you want to go this weekend? Let's head up to the canyon, because we're so close. It's just like what we did on the weekends. We went down to Moab, and then we booked another trip with the same. We went down to one of the tour companies down there, and there was a guy named, his name is Stash.
His name is Nick, and he's at
Outlaw Jeep Adventures.
So one of the things that was neat is we would go down there. We decided to do 2 days of wheeling with them, and we wheeled 3 trails. The first 2 trails were Fins and Things and Hell's Revenge, and the third trail was Poison Spider. And I think the Poison Spider day sealed it forever.
Oh yeah.
That's a little more serious rock crawling than Hell's Revenge is. And then...
so that was your first wheeling, was Moab and those 3?
With a tour guide.
And I mean, he took us on the easy lines and everything. And me and my mom, I had my mom in my Jeep, and Pope had my dad. And we were all out there, and my mom and me are sitting there going, this is not a road. This is not a road. How the hell are you supposed to know where you're driving? When you go on Hell's Revenge for the first time, that's terrifying. You have no idea how
we were really timid, and we still kind of are, about getting lost or not finding our way around. So we needed someone who could tell us how to do it at first. And
I think that's the only way you can do it, is have somebody take you out on those kind of things. Yeah. You don't want to just go.
We told somebody, we told them up front, we're kind of new at this. We just bought our Jeeps. We're going to need kind of a 101 type of a day with you, where you're explaining everything to us.
How to air down. We didn't even know how to air down. We
bought our Jeeps in
our anniversary is 4 years. Yeah. So 4 years ago, we bought our Jeeps on Halloween. So Halloween will be our 4-year anniversary of buying our Jeeps.
Wow.
We were in Moab by March.
Our second
And-
trip was in April.
In April, we literally booked another trip, went down and wheeled with Stash again. Started meeting up with some of the Jeep groups that were kind of in the area and met some friends. We met Crystal and TJ, who are Sand Hollow off 4x4 down. Met them, and by October we were doing Sand Hollow and doing. So within 1 year of buying our Jeeps, we were down in Sand Hollow doing double Sammy for our
And it's
first trail
really-
in Polo.
It was so
Like-
crazy because we were thinking we were kind of learning a lot. Then we start wheeling with Crystal and TJ, and they're like, let's step it up a little bit. Let's go try this harder part of this canyon that we've never done before. We start getting confident, and they had a 101 class that I went to when Randy had to work, but I went to their class, and I learned a lot from just doing that one class with them. I met a few friends in that little group, and almost everybody from that class is like wheeling hardcore rock crawling stuff now.
Yeah, we're all just like
they,
I don't know why, but we just all like got the bug, and it just kind of happened. Like me and him like got into it together, so that was kind of cool because we were learning together. So when we would like fuck up, it wasn't like we were in trouble. It was like, oh, what happened? And so it was kind of neat. We learned how to spot each other. Like that was one of the things that Nick made us do, is kind of spot each other through the obstacles, try to figure out where we were going to stick our tires and stuff.
Did you both did you get Gem and Misfit the same time?
On the exact same day.
Exact same day. So
What would make you guys both want a Jeep?
So Randy already had her she had a 2012 JK, and I had traded in my 2012 JK. Sure, hers was a 4-door, mine was a 2-door. Mine was on 33s with a 3.5-inch lift. It looked sick. Like
it was so cute.
People were like, you had 50 grand into that thing, and it was nowhere near that. But it
was like garbage. Every time we took it on the trail, it just broke.
But it was trying to kill me. I was convinced that Jeep was trying to kill me. So I traded it in for a Tacoma, because I'm like, I got to get back to something with a truck bed, and so
because we have a house and we need to do yard work and things like that.
You can't haul shit to the dump in the back of your Jeep. So I'm like, okay, we'll go get a Gladiator. That gives me kind of the same thing. Well, actually, no, I got a Tacoma, and then the Tacoma had weird glitchy computer problems. It was
so bad.
And it was just like trying to kill me on the highway too. And so I was like, okay, I can't have another car trying to kill me. So I went back to get another Jeep, but the Jeep Gladiator finally came out. Man, do I love that damn truck. It was so fun building it. It looked like an El Camino at first. If you've never seen a brand new one,
stock.
They put car tires on it.
Yeah.
And so it's like you get this thing with 31-inch tires or 32-inch tires, and it's just so tiny, and it looked like a baby sitting next to Randy's Jeep.
Yeah, because I traded in Gina, which was my 2012 JK, and I cried. She was cute. Like, she was really, really cute, and I loved her. And
we made her get 35s when 35s were like big. Like everyone was.
Well, yeah, it was a big deal.
35s were the new 33s at that point. Like she was, so she'd drive around on 35s, emasculating most of the Jeeps around her.
And I loved it, and she was so cute, and I loved her. And then it was COVID, and we have a Halloween party every year. And I was really sad because we couldn't have our Halloween party. And Pope's like, do you want to go do some retail therapy? I think I'm going to go trade in my Tacoma and get the Gladiator. And I was like, fine, let's go down to the dealership. And we get down there, and I had driven Gina. All of a sudden, this JL drives around the corner, and it already had a lift. It had the 37s. It had the red rims.
Falcon shocks.
It was
decent
really
build.
decent. Like a decent beginner's build.
Yeah, Terraflex Alpine setup.
He comes driving around and all blacked out. I mean, even the windshield was black. I had to tear that off because spotters couldn't see me through the windshield. It was so dark. Like, it was pretty funny. But anyway, she was sexy, and I was like, I'd trade Gina in for that. So we traded both of our vehicles in, got these Jeeps. So we started researching, found somebody, and then basically just started digging a hole and throwing our cash into it after that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that
it was progression, and the builds progressed as we progressed in what
That's true.
our skills were and what we were willing to do. So we really went out of our way to try to build up Jeeps that could go anywhere, but we also went out of our way to learn, and we've been taught by lots of people along
We're
the
still
way.
learning. We're constantly learning. I mean, I think like within a year and a half, we were on level 8s and 9s.
Yeah.
And it just happen that way.
We spent one day with Glenn Blake on the trail in Sand Hollow. We learned more in that one day than we had learned the whole time up to that point we've been wheeling. One of the best things he taught me, like your back tires. You actually should be driving where you're locating your back tire when you're driving on the trail. You have to know where your front tire is going to be, but you have to be conscious of your back tire. And the biggest thing that he taught me is that your back tire doesn't move at the same place as your front tire. It moves at a smaller circle inside. So when you're making that turn, you got to compensate for where your rear tires end up to aim your rear tire at the rock that you're trying to get to. That was like a game changer.
He also talked about where your diff is. Like, locate something on your hood. Like, I know that the one nub where the hood comes back and there's the two nubs, I know the one is one diff and one is the other. So when I'm aiming towards rocks, I'm looking at where on my hood that rock is coming at, or like where on my tires, like do you know what I mean? So just aiming at different things and having a position where you can kind of think about it.
And then you learn how to drive the Gladiator in steep environments. So if the trail is a certain width and you have to make a sharp right turn, you plan your rear tire to be the farthest edge of the trail as you're making that turn. And you go a little off camber and you just tip it in, and it's real fun. Like, people can try to explain stuff to you outside your rig. Give it more gas, give it this, but you don't really know what the hell that means. Someone told me send it on a trail on up an obstacle. They meant, just go hunt.
Give it a little
gas and go.
Momentum.
And when you say send it to me, that means you're getting 2,000 RPMs and my tires start moving. Like, there's an obstacle in the maze you're not supposed to jump, and I jumped it because he said send it. I know how to stop at the very top of the hill, so like you go up and my back tire, I can stop at the top of things really well, but it was a good thing I did know how to do that, because that was like, I wasn't supposed to do that.
Do you guys approach wheeling the same, or?
Yes, I would definitely say we approach it differently. I'm more all about like getting my double footing, and I love to just crawl. I want to be twisty and turny and awkward and he does too. If you tell him to send it, he's having the best day of his life. Like, he loves just gunning over obstacles. And I don't really necessarily love gas. I would rather just 2-foot it and crawl through something.
So like, I love throttle. It's one of my, I like to be able to play with it. And when I got the V8, all of a sudden I have the exact control I needed to have. But I approach things more as a Pope smash kind of way. And Randy's a little more meticulous. I'll see Horseshoe Falls and I'm like, okay, I'm going to start at the bottom of Horseshoe Falls and I am going to just put it in third and I'm going to pedal to the metal and I'm going to fly up that thing. I'm going to bounce 3 times. It's going to look sick as hell. The motor's going to be loud. And Randy will not do that. She'll take that. She'll give it the gas that it needs to have.
Yes, I don't mind
momentum. She gives it the right amount of momentum, but she doesn't go overboard with the momentum. I'll give obstacles momentum that don't need it, just to make the engine make a sound.
Do you ever wheel in the same vehicle?
Yeah, we do if one of ours is broke.
We prefer to be together on the trail, but I mean, we have 2. We're pretty much, if we could be out every weekend to every other weekend, we would be.
We started hitting a spot where we've been doing a lot of maintenance on a lot of fixing things. Randy went through a whole rebuild and then she rolled. I was going through rebuild and I rolled and then my motor blew up. And between those 2 things, we had a lot of time where only one of our Jeeps was working at a time. So we just made the best of it. It's actually fun to be in the Jeep together because you have someone that can actually hand you things and get a drink of water out of the back.
The first 2 years, we pretty much were not in the same Jeep. So the first time he rode in my Jeep with me when Jem was working and Misfit wasn't, it was an adjustment. Let's just say that. I was definitely oh my God, you're touching my stuff. I
was turning your lockers on for her.
And he kept asking me, is your lockers on? I'm about to touch the locker button. Is your lockers on? I'm I've been doing this for a long time without you sitting next to me, so shut the f up. We're better at it now. I actually enjoy it every once in a while, and now at events, it's kind of nice, he'll come ride on, the girls' run with me and spot the girls, or I'll jump in him and do, a night run if I'm just done driving. Trail Hero was, one thing after another.
Trail Hero, we had a couple of runs where I drove, she took a break. Yeah. I took a break while she drove.
We like that, but we prefer with them both to be out together.
Yeah.
We just feel safer that way. And we don't forget something because we have specific things in each Jeep. So when we only have one, we're Oh, we have that. No, we don't.
Pope, I didn't know you rolled. When did
Mine
you roll?
was not as cool as Randy's, and there wasn't any video of it happening because I was in a spot you shouldn't be rolling. We were on a back part of a trail, so we went around this really cool set of V-notches, and then we're climbing out, and this part is the part that we climbed out onto was actually like a fire road. There was a drop, and the drop was actually way washed out.
It's usually washed out like 2 or 3 feet.
It's usually like a 2-foot drop. And so I'm like, Randy was going up a line and her front tire came up way high. And I'm like, that looks shitty. I don't want to go that way. I'm like, I'm going to square up to this drop a little bit better and go down it. And what I thought I had squared up to, I didn't realize my rear tire was about 5 feet in the air and it dropped down. As my front tire came down, the weight shifted and it just flopped me over.
There was just a hole like right there, and it was like a 5-6 foot drop hole that his back tire, as he's turning down into it, caught into the hole that we were coming forward and dropping down on. He just wasn't expecting that. And
so there was no cameras on it. So my dog was in the car and she fell out the window. And I was just telling the wife to,
it was heartbreaking.
Someone get my fucking dog. I didn't even care what was going on with me at that point.
All of a sudden I hear on the radio, get Dottie, and I look in my rearview mirror and his tires are in the air. And we're on like literally an area that this shouldn't happen in. Like this is like we're at a charity event.
No one got video.
Because they were just watching. I mean, there was no reason to videotape right there.
And the thing is it blew up the motor. Like on the spot, it blew up the starter. And it makes it a damn nightmare because our Jeeps don't have power steering at that point because we have PSC, and now you've lost your hydro assist with no brakes.
Or Supermaning it out of Pritchett Canyon.
So then, Randy, when you rolled, it seemed like everybody saw that.
It was definitely.
I saw that, but I saw a video. I think it was on that like off-road and chill or whatever.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I know her. and when I realized, oh man,
and then you kept seeing it and seeing it and seeing it.
People are just like cruel.
So it was. I know they were pretty mean. It was okay. So this is the thing. I was really messing around with my engine. Like I don't usually do a lot of gassing things, and I had been hanging out with all the Rev Kit guys and all of my friends that have V8s, and they're gassing up everything. And I felt like I was getting some pretty good confidence. And Josh did that line, and it's a really shitty line. Like, you're gonna hit the hole. Like, you're gonna hit the hole and you're gonna bounce. And if you get a bad bounce, it's not gonna be a good thing. But I knew what I was getting myself into. I wasn't even nervous. Like, I was like, I got this. I like seriously thought I was so. But what happened is I was up into it, fell down into the hole, and I saw my tire coming up. And I literally to this day, the one thing that I can see is my tire coming up, and it started to come back down. I have to double foot. So to like get that much momentum to get over that bump, I have to double foot, get to about 2,500 RPMs, then go. So I was in my turbo band. Well, I hit the bump, came down, and went to go put it into neutral, and went to tap the brake to just bring like the RPMs down, and I accidentally hit the gas and not the brake. So I was in the turbo band, so it went zing zing. Like you see it, I go ding ding. Like I hit it twice to just kind of bring it down, and I literally hit the gas and it just went over. So I literally just grabbed my harness because I knew I was going over. That was like, I mean, I was literally just trying to tap the brake to put it into neutral. Like I could have saved it if I would have done the right thing, but it didn't happen. So I look like I'm whiskey footing it and just going crazy and whatever, but it happens when you're trying new things and trying to, I fucked around and I found out, and it's fine.
Randy didn't read hardly any of the comments.
I didn't.
And when we posted the video on our page, I eventually just disabled comment. I can't believe what scumbags people actually are when they're anonymous. You are a faceless individual. Usually your account is usually private, and you have nothing going in your life but like talking shit on other people. There's a lot of people who are like, they think they're good. They're actually hardcore wheelers and they're badass macho men, and they're like, well, that's what happens when you let a woman do this. And you're like, I can't believe you would say that in 2024, where we've got so many women off-roaders, and they're more patient than us. They're a lot better at it. Randy is by far a better wheeler than me because she has a totally different approach in her way she wants to do things. And I am a little bit more, like I said, I'm a Pope Smash kind of a guy.
It did happen to me. It was really interesting. We were on a media run for Motobuilt, and Trails Off-Road was there. Off-Road and Chill was there. pretty much everybody who was on that run was an influencer on top of it. So like there was probably 50 cameras out. Like, I mean, people had full media teams there. The thing that was crazy is getting off the trail at how many people had posted it. I had so many people like, are you okay? Because they were like, crazy shit at EJS, and then posting my video,
Yeah,
which
like
my Jeep
some people
is,
had Starlinks on the trail. They posted the video
Yeah,
on
and so
Instagram before we
I
had a
didn't
chance
even
to get like
off
tell
the
anyone
trail
about it.
and tell anybody I'm okay. And it's like, you guys, you need to. So that's why the next morning I was gonna wait. I would have normally waited a couple days and like processed my hearing. Everybody's like, are you okay? Are you okay? So I had texted my friend Julie. I texted Aqua Jeep Girl when we were coming back through town, told her what was going on so she could tell people I'm okay. But it was just like this crazy, like, I mean, I think I had 57 text messages when I got off the trail at 3 a.m. And one of them was from my dog sitter. And so drove home, and then my dog had to go to back surgery. It was like this crazy turn of events where I just literally couldn't take another thing. So I just turned off my phone and turned off like the thing we put our post up. I kind of tried to make it funny, like Randi fucked around and found out or something. I don't remember. I made some snarky thing, like comment, just kind of like
a lot of people would post something like that over and over
and
again.
we didn't want to post it over and over again because what's happening is there's so many videos of it that my friends were starting to get PTSD. And then
I've seen like 6 or 7 copies
then the
of
rollover
millions of views.
videos, or the pages that do carnage videos are posting it, and like everybody, I mean, it was just everywhere. Our Instagram account, we started it just to like have fun and document our journey. We never wanted to have sponsors. We never wanted to do any of those kind of things. We just came out and it's just me and him against the world, just having fun, doing all this kind of stuff. And it's the same with this rollover. We put ourselves out there. People are going to say stuff. They're not there.
It's part of telling the story about what we're
is.
doing. That's the main thing that we've always tried to do. I also like to make people laugh and try to do.
And we like to laugh at ourselves.
And there's certain things you can post over and over again. This would be one that if I was really trying to grow our page, I could. People who
all
really
the people
matter.
who really cared. Like I had a lot of people that I respected that I thought, oh my God, they're going to think I'm the biggest dumbass. They reached out to me first. They're like, are you okay? Everybody has their first rollover. What happened? Like, just know that like I'm here for you. So
then we start having some of our friends are like, if you don't roll over at least once, you're not trying hard enough.
Has it changed the way you drive now at all?
No, I like honestly, it's
you don't have
changed a few things.
flashbacks
There's like
or anything like, oh, this reminds me of.
She doesn't.
There's like, okay, so this is the thing is that I have a little PTSD right about when I need to like give something momentum, but I feel like at Trail Hero I just liked up and just did it, and I had a lot of control at Trail Hero. And
Making a mistake.
What we do every single time we're out on the trail, when we're going on 8s and 9s, we're like, it's a game of inches.
Yeah.
And anything can happen at any time. Like you can jack your Jeep up and different things like that. So I definitely think that like making sure I'm in the right mind frame, because like there's times when we've been out like at Trail Hero, we were exhausted. We went and did milts and I forgot to like air down my tires because we went into town and they were still at 18. And then I forgot to lock my hubs and I was just like a hot mess. That's not a day for me to be trying crazy shit. You know what I mean? Like that was just not a good day for me. Like I was just not. But it was also day 743 of Trail Hero. My brain was fried. I think getting back out there, I just love it so much. And I feel like we're learning all the time and how much it's brought us together.
For me, it was a little bit different because mine came out of nowhere. Suddenly, I can't trust what's going on because what I thought was a flat ground was supposed to be flat, and it wasn't. When I first got back out on the trail, the first time I got back on the trail after rolling Misfit, I drove Gem on 777s in Sand Hollow. 777s is one of my very favorite trails to drive the Gladiator on. I know this trail. I'm comfortable in. And for probably 2/3 of it, I was pretty awesome, and then it started getting, there was this really cool crack that we went on that you drive over, and there's a video of me. It took me like 2 minutes to go over like 12 feet. I was so timid and so slow and so scared to drive over that that was where I realized like, hey, I am feeling a little bit uneasy about things.
Flashback.
Yeah, and it wasn't even, it was nothing.
And he was wearing off on me. After his rollover, I was way more freaked out than on my rollover. Like, he was, like, so tense that he's like, how's my tire? How's my tire? How's my tire? And it was...
Yeah, and I was always like, where's my tire? Where's my tire? And I still kind of have a little bit of that hey, I can't see what's over there. I need to look out my window or get out and see it, or Randy, tell me what my tire's doing over there. I don't trust something, right? And through Trail Hero, I think I got through most of that. Both of our rollovers made me kind of want to do is we were on a track of like doing 10s with these Jeeps and like going way too far, way too fast. And I think we both decided, okay, so we're super comfortable and confident on Sand Hollow 8s, few Sand Hollow 9s. Let's stay in that range.
Let's stay there for a minute.
And
We don't have
try to get good at doing that. And then let's not go do insane stuff in a Jeep that you're not supposed to be taking your Jeep on anyway. So that's kind of what it did to us. It kind of, let's recognize who we are with our Jeeps. Let's stay there. Let's find our lane and let's get in it and let's stay in our lane now.
We also changed a lot of things in my Jeep. Like one thing that happened is we used my jack and then chucked it in the back seat. We're like, oh, we'll fix that later. And then we went on the trail. Well, my jack flew out of my Jeep when I rolled. On top of all the stuff that was secured in my back, just like I yard sold like crazy. And so that is where my PTSD is like, where's everything? Like the only thing that's going to be in the back of my Jeep is a bag of Doritos that can hit me. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
It's like anything hard or anything, it has to be like in the slip screen. So we've changed a lot of our habits that way too.
You know, it really changed how we look at packing the interior of the Jeep so that if something bad happens, what's going to hit us in the head?
What's cool about your Instagram is like, it's just you guys wheeling. Like you don't play hey, look at this torque wrench that I got.
We've thought about some different things too along this process. And you know, you're probably familiar with us. We work with two companies, EasyFlate and Motobuild.
And they're our friends. And that's the only reason.
They're our friends.
Like, we were already buying so much Motobuild and they were already our friends. And like they asked us to be ambassadors and I told them no 3 times. And they finally were like, come on, don't you want a discount? And I'm like
you're gonna buy all this stuff anyway.
Anyway, like let's just at least give you a discount. And so we just don't want to be associated with like coupon codes and like that kind of stuff. Because really, our Instagram is just, we're not trying to build like some major following or anything. We just like are two people.
Well, you got like 50,000 followers. That's really good.
Well, and I love that, and that's really awesome that like people care. Like, but it's also like not why we're doing this. We're doing it to literally document our journey. Like we're literally doing it to like just and also to meet all the people. Like we have met so many of our friends. Like we're all about the people. Like that's going out.
That's the main driver behind keeping our Instagram going and running and having fun with it, is all the cool people we get to meet as a consequence of how we've done it. I think that they're like
and the opportunities
that come up with it. Like we don't take all of the opportunities, but when we get cool opportunities to go on industry runs and hang out with Rockstar Garage or hang out with Motobuild or, you know, do those kinds of things, just because our Jeeps are rad. Like, you know, it's kind of like you take any kind of a specimen and you do something radical to like what we've done to our Jeeps. They're going to stand out. They'll be popular. And throughout our process, we tried different things. We tried like, oh, look, we're installing seats today. And then at the end of that video, I'm like, I fucking hated doing that. I'm never doing it.
You know what happens? If you're going to install video, it's going to take you 17 times as long. You're not going to see a like Motobuilt sticker.
No, there is a Motobuilt sticker in Friendship Corner.
Yeah, because they're our friends.
You know, and there's
Friendship Corner is like who our friends are and who's made us who we are, and like different experiences that are part of GEM. It's not about the companies that we're representative.
Friendship Corner is a part of your Jeep? A corner of your Jeep?
So the rear cool. Passenger corner panel has all the stickers from all of our friends on it that have wheeled with us.
Yeah.
Or that we've met in real life. So,
but it's really fun to rip somebody off when you're pissed off at them.
So on your off time, is it wheeling all the time you guys talk about? Or wheeling adjacent?
I feel like they've taken over our lives. We love to be outdoors. And even before this, though, when we were going camping, it was like every other weekend. So it's not that different than what it was. We
just do rock crawling trips now.
Yeah, we used to like do like Mexico, and we got married in Mexico. So like we love to go down and just like stay in an all-inclusive and just have fun and do all that kind of stuff. We have not left the country since we bought Gem and Misfit, which is super weird because like we've always been travelers. So yeah, we off-road. Like we literally plan our vacations around it. We plan our weekends around it. It's kind of stupid, but love it.
And it's so fun to like go to these different things. Like we did an event this weekend with our friends Jeep Club called Dirty Adventure Crew, and it was just driving up the canyon and going over the mountain through some snow and mud, and then getting to the other side of the mountain where you could help on the freeway.
But it was a night run for Halloween, and it's through a dense aspen forest, and so it's blackout dark in there. And it's just your lights going through these twisty, creepy... Oh, it was so fun.
Yeah.
And we tell ghost stories while we're driving through the dark.
And it's fun because, like, it's certain groups, when we show up there, people act kind of weird around us because we have 50,000 followers. They think we're Insta-famous. And then certain groups, like Dirty Adventure Crew, they've been with us so the whole time we've been wheeling. So they're like...
They're like, oh, they're here.
They're here again. We really love sharing the stuff that we share and, you know, telling the story, and it's been really fun to like have like the really cool trophy like builds that we have, but the stuff we've learned to do with those builds has been really the best part of it. Like I feel like the fact that Randi was able to go do the wedgie on the maze and have basically Bluetooth traction for a portion of it while she's off camber and didn't tip over, some super highly technical driving going on. The fact that we can do that is the rewarding part of it too. You know, we can go do that neat stuff. Like we like to do the stunts and give ourselves a little bit of an adrenaline rush while we're doing it. I think that's why I like driving fast too, but I feel like I'm not going to get hurt getting my adrenaline rush at 3 miles an hour versus 100. So,
all right, rapid fire questions. If you could travel back in time, what period would you go to?
Ooh, I think I would want to go to the 70s.
Oh, so far.
So far. No, the 70s seem fun, man.
I would say the 20s. I love like that whole
the
like,
roaring 20s.
Yeah, I love that like whole like when I do a lot of editorial and different things like that in my job, and so I do a lot of styling, and I would say the 20s are like just so fascinating. It's the sets and the like the hair and the makeup and the things like that. I just love that generation, and also it would be just fun to see like...
She's far more cultured than I am.
Probably.
I can tell. Your favorite season?
Definitely fall and spring, but I would lean toward fall. Yeah.
I would say
it's still really warm until it gets cold.
Yeah. I mean, we have 4 very distinct seasons in Utah, and I would say spring is my favorite time of the year.
Last Halloween costume?
Some weird variation of an off-roading Macho Man Randy Savage.
We used to love Halloween, and I haven't really dressed up since, but like I was like this weird thing that looked like it had a hole in its face. I had one of my friends is like a professional makeup artist, and so she likes to do like, we've done like crazy like face contraptions. Pope has one where he's a skeleton and it's like super creepy.
We should do that again sometime. That was
fun. Yeah, she does like prosthetics and all kinds of stuff, so we get really into it when we get into it.
Go-to snack on the trails, and you can't say snow cones.
I would say Crustables.
I go with the Doritos Dinamitas, the
spicy ones.
The spicy flaming ones.
If you had to change your first name, what would you change it to?
Well, mine, I would actually literally change it to Pope. My first name is Brian. Not a lot of people know that, and if they watch your podcast, they'll know. And I just don't particularly like other people named Brian. I never have. It started as a joke at a karaoke bar. We were trying to make the DJ say funny names. And so me and my friend introduced ourselves as the Pope and the Cardinal. Then we were the Delinquent Disciples. And the Pope and the Cardinal thing just kind of stuck.
You know what? I really like my name. Even when I first started doing hair, I never put my last name on my card. It was always just Randy. It wasn't Randy Schneider or Randy Heeb, which is my last name. Because I always said, like, I'm just Randy. Like it's like Madonna. Like, do you have to have more than that? So then when we got married, he's like, you're not going to put your last name on the card? He was so offended. So I finally did it.
Last one. If your life had a theme song, what song would it be? I
call myself the Hot Mess Express because it's just kind of like happening.
Randy's is the Love Shack. And mine is Any Song by Two Life Crew. Wait. No, I love Motorhead, and I think King of Kings is one of my favorite songs. Also happens to be one of Triple H's alternate entrance songs. So,
Well, thanks for hanging out. It was fun. I hope you had a good time. And then, just go ahead and pitch your podcast that you guys do with JD.
So we are on the Trailhead podcast, and you can get it on all the major podcast platforms. We do Friday Night Live on Instagram and YouTube, and you can see how the sausage is made. JD edits a lot of stuff out, and the only way to get the full thing is to watch it live, because there's things that we're like, oh, we need to get rid of that. We can't leave that on the internet. So if you watch it live, you get the best version of it.
We're also drinking.
We're also drinking the whole time.
Don't expect much. If you're listening to this podcast and then you're going to come to Trailhead, like, don't expect like any organization or any theme.
It's Pope and Randy talking about the shit they did last week, and then we react to all the bad news about Jeeps. It's
what
just
you talk about at the end of a trail.
It's kind of, that's why it's called the Trailhead. It's because, it's what you're talking about right before you leave for the trail, what you're on after.
Yeah.
When everybody's airing back up. And
yeah, exactly.
Well, I hope we weren't boring.
All right, guys. That was fun. Hopefully you got something from that. And man, they're doing awesome stuff. Check out their Jeep. It's both of them. They're just so awesome. Randy's roll cage is probably the coolest roll cage I've seen on a Jeep. And good